In the heart of the Great Plains, where the golden grass danced with the wind and the acacia trees stood as wise old sentinels, there lay a village called Umoja. The people of Umoja were known far and wide for two things: their incredible, vibrant, colorful woven tapestries, and their noise. Oh, it was a joyful noise, most of the time. The village was always filled with the sound of chatter, laughter, the clatter of looms, and the singing of working songs. The children played loud games, the elders debated spiritedly, and the animals added their own chorus. It was a village full of life, but it was also a village that had forgotten how to listen. In Umoja, the most respected person was the weaver. This was not just a job, it was a sacred duty. The weaver's tapestries told the history of the people, mapped the constellations in the sky, and captured the spirit of the land. The current weaver was an old woman named Mama Kibola. Her hands were gnarled like ancient roots, but her eyes sparkled with the light of 1,000 stars. She had woven the story of Umoja for longer than anyone could remember. But now, Mama Kibola was growing tired. Her eyesight was fading, and her hands were becoming stiff. The village knew it was time for her to choose an apprentice. Two young people in the village dreamed of this honor more than anything. The first was Jabari. Jabari was strong, confident, and possessed fingers that flew across the loom like lightning. He could weave faster than anyone. His patterns were complex, his colors were bold, and he was always eager to show off his latest creation. He would talk while he worked, explaining his genius to anyone who would listen. He believed the best tapestry was the biggest, the brightest, and the one that shouted the loudest. The second was Zawadi. Zawadi was quiet and thoughtful. She watched the world with wide, observant eyes. While Jabari wove with speed, Zawadi wove with patience. She would spend hours watching a butterfly's wings to understand the subtle shift from blue to purple. She would sit by the river, not speaking, just listening to the water's song. Her tapestries were not as large as Jabari's, but if you looked closely, you could see the delicate dewdrop on a spider's web, or the exact pattern of a leopard's spots. She felt the story she was weaving, rather than just telling it. The day of the choosing came. The entire village gathered in the center circle. Mama Kibola stood slowly, supported by her staff. She did not speak of skill or speed. Instead, she pointed a bony finger towards the great, mist-covered Mount Ihu, the mountain of the face, which loomed over their village. The next weaver, Mama Kibola said, her voice a soft whisper that somehow silenced the whole crowd, must not only have skilled hands, but a patient heart and listening ears. The greatest truth of our world is not shouted, it is whispered. Therefore, your test is this: you must journey to the summit of Mount Ihu. There, in a hidden cave behind the veil of mist, you will find the loom of the first spider. Sit before it, listen, then return and show me what you have learned. Jabari grinned. This sounded easy. He was sure he could conquer the mountain and find this legendary loom. Zawadi simply nodded, a look of solemn determination on her face. The next morning, they set out. Jabari raced ahead, his mind already designing the magnificent tapestry he would create on the legendary loom. Zawadi walked steadily, feeling the earth beneath her feet, noticing how the light changed through the leaves. The climb was long and difficult. The air grew thin and cold. Finally, Jabari burst through the final layer of mist onto the summit. And there it was, a shallow cave, and inside, a loom made of pure, dark ebony and threads that seemed spun from moonlight itself. It was breathtaking. Jabari sat down immediately. Finally, he exclaimed to the empty air, "Now, let's see what secrets you hold." He ran his hands over the loom. It was silent. He tapped it. Nothing. He began to try and weave, threading the luminous threads quickly, creating a strong, bold pattern of zigzags and sharp angles. But as he worked, the threads seemed to resist him. They felt cold and lifeless in his hands. The more he forced it, the more stubborn the loom became. He talked to it, he pleaded with it, he tried to command it. Frustrated, after several hours, he stood up. "This is a useless old relic," he declared. "There is no secret here. I don't need an old loom. My own skills are greater than this silence." And with that, he turned and marched back down the mountain, already planning how he would describe his victory over the silent loom. Hours later, Zawadi reached the summit.